Nick speaking, and welcome to this video, the last in the heavy support choice, the Fire Prism. I'm not going to cover the Night Spinner in case you're wondering, and that's because I don't have the model, never used it, so I can't really talk about it. But yeah, Fire Prism in this video. Right, so where do we start? Let's start by looking at the model. So I have the old Fire Prism, although I have converted mine up because I've made it into a Forge World one. Now the Forge World sections that I've used are actually for the Vulcan, and it was a bit of a, not a struggle, but it took some work to get this this section here made into a Fire Prism, but I think it was worth it. I've got the Vulcan back section on there as well. I think it looks pretty awesome how it is. I like having the extended pieces, this piece and this piece as well. So yeah, that's my model there. I've got the same things, the vectored engines, star engines, they're magnetised. I've got the front gun which is also magnetised, and I have my hollow fields on there which are again Forge World. Spirit Stone as well, by the way, that's Forge World Spirit Stone. Okay, so let's have a look at the stats. Now the first thing to bear in mind, and I'm going to say this straight up because I played this model for about 2 years making this mistake, and the mistake is that this is a ballistic skill of 4. So remember that, ballistic skill 4, that means you actually hit on 3s on the underslung gun. Not only that, but you scatter less. So you've got -4 inches rather than 3 inches. Now I made the fatal mistake thinking it's an Eldar tank, must be ballistic skill 3, hits on 4s, but it doesn't, it hits on 3s. Okay, so bearing that in mind, what are you going to take on this? I say what are you going to take because previously in 5th edition I took everything. I took the vectored engines, I took the star engines, I took the hollow fields. It was a really durable tank, really difficult to destroy, good at contesting objectives. It's not good at contesting objectives now, and there's hull points around. So just like the Vulcan, really, I think if you're going to use this, you need to strip it right back. So drop the hollow fields, drop the star engines, drop the vectored engines, just have the gun, which comes with anyway. The gun on the front, we're going to have a chat about that in a minute. I would say if you're using Fire Prism, then ideally you want 2, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is when you have 2, you have the option to combine beams. Now you could have 3 in the list and you can combine beams, but 2 for me is the number, because doubling up on the stats will basically just make either choice of template very useful. You've got the high strength one, you've got the low AP one, it's good for tanks, good for troops, and when you have the option to combine beams, whether you need it or not will be your choice on the day. But I personally found that's really good, and when you combine beams, because it makes it twin linked, which means you're almost guaranteed to hit your target. So that is one good thing. The other thing to bear in mind is the second gun here. Now when you have 2 prisms, what I always do is I have one with the big gun and I have one with the little gun. And the reason for that is, if you look at the FAQ updates, when you combine the beam, so if this one's combining with another prism and that other prism's shooting with this combined beam, you can actually shoot at another target with the underslung gun. So what I would do is I would have the big gun on the one which is going to be a combining, and then have the small gun on the other one, because obviously you can't shoot anything. So at least then you've got the option to have this gun here and shoot it. So yeah, I would normally put one of these cannons for 10 points, just at least on one of the prisms. But cheap and cheerful is the way to go with these, and that means what, 115 points plus this gun on one of them, 125 points. It's a bit of a bargain really, and even if they get destroyed, I mean, just over 100 points for this little beastie. For me, 2 in the list, especially Mektar, 2 in the list is pretty much you know, a no-brainer really. So yeah, Eldar Fire Prism, fantastic mini. Keep it cheap, keep it cheerful, and just let it destroy your enemy. Okay, so that is it for heavy supports. Next we're going to look at the all-important HQ choices.